Hey, good morning. Travels with Dottie here. And I try to do a video every single day. And I didn't have anything to do today, so I thought I'd have you just join me here. And the kids, Dottie and George. Hey, George. Hey, kitty, kitty. And have coffee with me. I got my coffee. I start out my day every day doing that. And if you're not familiar with it, I do a short every day. It's I do a positive news video. And today was a little story, cute little story about a cat. But believe it or not, I've been numbering these stories. I do them every day. And I just had one day I said, you know what? There's not enough positive news out there. So I'm going to find something positive to say, find a news story that's positive, and I'm going to do it every single day from now on until whenever. And guess how many days ago that was? Well, some of you know because you watch these things, and I number in the title every one of them. Today was positive news number 563, which means I've done positive news shorts every single day without missing a day for 563 days. And this spring, it'll be 2 years, right? So where do I get my positive? Well, I used to just search everywhere, but I found this website called sunnyskies.com. And I would say 95% of my news stories come from that outlet because they're good at it. There are other positive news websites. This one, I think, by far is the best. I can always find something that, and for me to be included, has to kind of personally appeal to me directly to my emotions. Mostly I get moved by things that involve empathy, kindness, generosity, the soaring human spirit, that kind of thing. But every once in a while, this is today was about a cat that loves the snow, and the owner puts snow goggles and boots and hats on it, and he goes on sleigh rides with his dog pulling him. It's a feel-good story. But I found, why have I done it for 563 days? Is it like this huge altruism thing? No, it's not. It is after I get up and take my shower and just get dressed and do everything and feed Dottie and make my coffee. The first thing I do with my day, every single day, is that positive news video. And every once in a while, like when I take my trip this month to New York City, I have to leave here at 4 a.m. to get to the airport in enough time. So I'll do the positive news video the night before and have it automatically release at 7 a.m. So that's the exception. But otherwise, that's how I start my day. And it makes a difference to me to start my day with something that is uplifting and positive. It doesn't make every day perfect. It's not a magic thing, but it just works for me. Why am I laughing? Because I just remembered people get upset about the funniest things on the channel, and this one lady said, she acknowledged, I know you don't like this random criticism of things that you do and say. Like, but she said, I'm going to do it anyway. It makes my skin crawl. It makes my skin crawl. And it's funny she used those words to describe. I used an idiom or a saying. There's another way to skin the cat, right? Or skin the cat. And she was offended by that. Evidently, I'm going to guess she thinks it's because the meaning of it is actually physically skinning a feline, a cat, and that's not where it comes from. It comes from there's two places. One is it talks about skinning a cat. It refers to skinning a catfish. That's probably the oldest reference. Not a cat, a catfish. And the other thing is there's a gymnastic move called skin the cat. So those are the sources of it. And what it means is there's more than one way of doing things. Been saying it my whole life. So my response was, I think you should look up the origins of that and maybe rethink your reaction. He's been reacting negatively to sort of like her whole life because she's misunderstood the origin of some words people have put together over probably a century. I think it's close to a century that saying's been around. But it always amazes me the things that get people so worked up watching the channel that they feel they need to get on and tell me and write. The other one yesterday was, my whole life I get little pimples on the end of my nose. I don't know if you can see it. That's been coming and going since I was a teenager. And this woman gets on and says, I'm an advanced nurse practitioner. You need to get that looked at right away. Then she said something nice. I forget what it was. But it's interesting how people feel free in the name of, I'm trying to do you a favor, to say things that are completely inappropriate. Like, I think, if I saw something on a provider that I thought was dangerous for them, and they may not know, and I can't imagine what that would be, I think the most I would do would be send a private message or an email, and not, it's just the thought process that people have about what's appropriate and is not appropriate baffles me often. And I spend way too much time thinking about it. And why do I say that? I say it because if you do a YouTube channel like mine, like I do, you will find that 99% of the feedback is supportive and positive and wonderful, and people share their experiences and their hopes and dreams, and it's a beautiful thing. And but you get the negative stuff, and it's human nature, I think, to hyper focus on that. And I wish I were a little better than that. I do. I wish I were a little better than that. There's a filter in there that in YouTube that it has an algorithm that really isolates the really nasty comments, and it holds them. And you go and check, and it shows you, hey, we held this comment because it's obviously offensive. And I think it's, since I've gotten one of those, I think it's been a couple of months, maybe 2 or 3 months since I've gotten one. And those are people that just, there's something in them that wants to lash out and harm other human beings to fill some kind of emptiness or void inside of them. I've never understood that kind of behavior. But like on my channel, it hardly ever happens. That's good. So my coffee. Okay, if you're a coffee aficionado, please stop here. Watch a different video or a different channel, because you're not going to like how I do my coffee. You're not going to like it one bit. I buy cans of Starbucks instant coffee. Yeah, I said it. Instant coffee. I buy them on the internet. It's they're cheaper than any retail place I've ever seen them at. I rarely see them. They're in little cans, 3 cans in a batch. And, I put a teaspoon or two, depending on how much strength I want. In this, I boil water on the stove. I pour it in. And then, sadly, I buy commercial creamer that has both cream and sweetener in it. And I pour it in that. And I'll drink from this thing all day long. It won't keep it as hot as it is now all day long, but still, I brought this to, I meet with friends often late in the afternoon, 4 in the afternoon. We call it happy hour. And I'd go there with this. 8 hours, 8 hours, more than that. I got up, I made this at about 6. What time is it now? It's 3 minutes after 7. And I probably will bring this with me today at 4 o'clock and sit outside and talk to friends, and this'll still be good for me. So that's how I do my coffee. I used to do drip coffee, French drip coffees, and all these other things, and it's just I've gotten a little lazy about food prep, and I started using this service. It's the same company as HelloFresh. Have you heard of that? It's called Factor. And the jury's still out on how much I'm enjoying that. I know I'm having one of these, they're pre-prepared meals that are refrigerated, not frozen. And I put it in the microwave for 3 minutes, and then I transfer it to a plate. And I bring it here and sit at my table and eat my dinner. And there's a protein, and there's a vegetable and a carbohydrate. Pretty well balanced. And this is me eating healthy, and so far it's the only way I've been able to do it. It's interesting. I don't know if any of you have the same experience that I do as I've gotten over 60, 65. The older I get, the less enjoyment I'm getting out of food. I'm not a skinny mini by any chance, by any stretch of the imagination, but I still eat enough food to maintain a weight that's probably, my doctor says, Rob, you could lose another 20 or 30 pounds. So there's that. So I'm getting volume in, but the pleasure is not what it used to be at all. I mean, it really, I used to love steak, a nice rare steak. I love steak. Not anymore. It would be extremely rare for me to go buy a steak and cook it, or even order a steak in a restaurant these days. I would say when I was in like 20s and 30s, my favorite food to eat when I went out was a steak. And I'd grill steaks outside. I love steak. Steak's great stuff. But no more. I don't dislike it. I just don't. It doesn't give me the pleasure that it used to. I've gotten a little bit more of a sweet tooth, kind of like my father did when he was older. He liked his ice cream desserts, and he always had to have a dessert. And as an adult, in my 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, I didn't have much of a sweet tooth, but I have more of a sweet. I think there's more of a. I don't know. Is it an age thing? Share. Tell me. One of my favorite things to eat is my friend Deborah Dickinson turned me on to these. They're called Philadelphia cheesecake crumbles, and it's there's 2 of them in there. Here's one. And you've got that crumble stuff on the top. You open it up, and it's flavored cream cheese, and you put the crumbles on top of it, and you eat it with a spoon. It's sweet. I really, really like it. So tell me what you think about that. I've done a couple of videos recently on home bases and retirement, and I've done quite a few on. I think I have 4 or 5 videos now on home bases. Only because I'm so happy with what I've done here in New Mexico. If you've been with me, you might recall my first home base was in Pahrump, Nevada, and it was a RV resort called Preferred RV Resort, and you actually would buy a membership, and that would entitle you to a fractional ownership of the entire RV park. The RV park was owned by people that buy these shares in the RV park. It's almost like a timeshare. Not quite, but almost like one. You do get a deed from the county, so you own, it's the fraction is 1/2,000 something. That's the fractional ownership for when you buy one share. And it doesn't mean that you get your own spot. You don't. And you don't get to stay there year round. Technically, I think that you can these days because they're a little loose with the rules, but the official rule is you can only be in the park for 9 months out of the year. There are people that are grandfathered into memberships that didn't have that rule, so they get to stay year round, but there's a rule they have to move every 9 months. So you can't hook yourself to a particular spot and dig into it. And so while you legally have part ownership, you don't have the right to have your own plot, site, spot. And that bothered me more than I thought. Now that I have a spot with a concrete pad and a little casita that is mine, and I can stay here year round. I can make improvements on the property. I have this little house. I call it a casita. People have said it's not a tiny house. Stop calling it a tiny house. Then else, okay, it's a casita. Then people have gotten on and says it's not a casita. You can't. No. No matter what I do, someone gets on the comments and tells me I'm wrong in the word that I'm using. But that's not the point. The point is I love this little place. So I've got just steps outside as my little 21-foot Winnebago Micro Mini. I sleep in that. It's my, and I cook in that when I do cook. And I have my bathroom and shower, full hookups. But during the days and evenings, I'm right here, baby, right here. And you can see I got big screen TV. And you saw when I showed you the kids here, a really nice couch. Check this out. Hey, Dottie. All right, Dottie. Can I move you just a little bit just to show some people some stuff? Can I get in there? Okay, let me in. Dottie. Okay, check this out. Regular couch, right? Da-ding! Recliner. This feels so good. And I got a great view of the TV. I don't know if you can see it up here. There's a mini split, which keeps it warm and keeps it cool for a low cost. And I just got this from Amazon. I was having to put one of those pillows up there, but now I've got this that's hooked on there, kind of Velcroed on there. That's nice. And I have my little table. It looks like a little tiny table, right? But this thing, you can rotate it and flip it over, and it doubles in size. So you can eat, right now on the little table you can get 4 people, but there wouldn't be much room for dinner. But I could double its size and plenty of room for 4 people. And there are a couple closets back here that I've got plenty of room for storage. Then on the other side of this wall is a whole separate storage building attached to the side of this that has a little bench and workshop and electricity in there. It's perfect for me. I love everything about it. And I don't stay here year round. I'm still a nomad. But here's the routine, and this routine could change at any time. It's one of the beauties of being a nomad is I arrived here from Eagle Nest. I'm going to give you a full year's plan here. I arrived here September 15th, okay, or 14th or 15th. And I will stay September, October, November, 3 months. And December 1st, I will go to Quartzsite for December, January, and February, 3 months in Quartzsite. Then back here for March, April, and May, and probably half of June. So that's another 3 months. And then back to Eagle Nest, and the whole cycle starts over again. So that means I'm here in the home 6 months out of the year, 3 months in Eagle Nest, and 3 months in Quartzsite. And that's ideal for me. And Eagle Nest, if you're not familiar with me, it's up in the mountains in northern New Mexico. It's about a 5.5, 6 hour drive if you don't stop from here. And it's at an elevation of about 8,300 feet. And it's on a lake, Eagle Nest Lake. It's a small town of only about 350 people. And it's got charm like you would not believe. I have an arrangement with the owner of an RV park there that I actually don't technically stay in the RV park. I stay in the land she owns next to it. And she's gracious enough to run an electrical line out to me that's metered if I need it. And I hardly need it because I use solar. And it's very close to a bathroom, so I don't need to use my black tank. I don't need to use my bathroom at all, except for weekly showers, and I don't have water hookups there. But there are 2 solutions to that. One is I have a bladder that fits in the back of my pickup truck that I can go to the main house there, the office, and fill that with 30 gallons of water and pump it into my rig. And it's her land, and she allows me to release my gray water on her land. So that takes care of the showers. The bathroom, of course, I go to. It's a little standalone bathroom that's very close to where I'm camping, and I camp sort of on my own in this little 1 acre plot where there's nobody else around me, and I have I'm looking right at the lake and surrounded by mountains 360 degrees. And I've become integrated into that community, as illustrated by the fact that this past summer they have a visitor center and museum in town for the town of Eagle Nest. And this past summer, I was the volunteer on duty manning that museum and visitor center every single Saturday all summer. That's quite a bit of trust that folks in that town put in me, and I'm grateful for that. But it's an opportunity for me to interact with people and meet new people all day long every Saturday. It's really wild. I never thought of this, but because Eagle Nest is so far off the beaten track. The closest town is called Taos, I don't know if you ever heard of that. I had vaguely heard of it, didn't know where it was. It's like a town that's an artist community, and I think the population's about 7,000, something like that. And that's takes you almost an hour to get to Taos. And there's really nothing there's nothing else other than small towns. It's out of the way. And there's no major highway going through Eagle Nest. I was on my way to making a point. Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry. So when I started these Saturdays, I would announce on my channel at least once a week, hey, if you're a listener and you happen to be in the area and you'd like to meet me and Dottie, come by the museum on a Saturday. I'll be there. I bring Dottie with me. Dottie's there. And I thought, maybe if I'm lucky, I'll see one or two people. There were days in the museum where the majority of the visitors were listeners that were coming to meet Dottie and I. What? Are you kidding me? What's going on there? And I think I put two and two together, and I have, because I release videos every day, which means all summer long I'm releasing Eagle Nest in that area videos every day. So when people go on to they're gonna be in that area and they go onto YouTube and start searching for Eagle Nest, they find a bunch of my videos. Then as I thought through it, then it made sense, because I'm not a big channel. I'm a little channel, not a big one. But that's why, and that was wonderful because, it's a pretty laid back atmosphere. People can come in, have a seat. There are people that spent 2 or 3 hours with me just sitting around shooting the breeze. A visitor would come to the museum. I'd get up and deal with them and introduce people, and it was fun. So that's my Eagle Nest life. I became good friends with a guy named Jack Schweitzer, who's the Museum and Visitor Center is a nonprofit. He's the president of the board, and he's a very active local resident, an ex-fish and game wildlife management guy, and also other fascinating things in his career. And so he kind of took me under his wing and introduced me to people. And I do a lot of videos, so I do videos on local businesses, and the videos often would drive people into the businesses. So I got to be a little popular with some business owners for that reason. But it was my second summer in Eagle Nest, and it got so pretty much anytime I went into town, I would be recognized and people would say hi to me, especially I ride my e-bike through town with the little stick on it with a camera on it, and people knew exactly who I was and what I was doing, and I felt kind of like Norm in Cheers. So that's what Eagle Nest is all about for me. Then Quartzsite. Why do I keep going to Quartzsite? It's because almost every solid Nomad relationship I have made in 4 years, and I'm going to start to say 4 years because it's October, and December 1st will mark my 4th year as a nomad, a retired nomad. I've met all those people in Quartzsite. Quartzsite's it's a little town in a sort of an almost nondescript desert, and it's not a destination like the beach or Eagle Nest or the mountains where things are just gorgeous. Although the desert's gorgeous, but the desert's pretty gorgeous everywhere. I mean, sunsets and deserts all over the Southwest, they look the same, but they're all remarkable and beautiful, and there's a lot of beauty in the desert. But that's not the reason I'm there. The reason I'm there is Quartzsite, for people in this lifestyle, it's a mecca. People come there every single winter, and there's a reunion of friends and friendships and companionship every single winter, where it's really exciting to get there and see people you haven't seen since last winter, and you do stuff together. And everywhere, if you get to be a regular like me, everywhere you go, you see people that you know, and it's a wonderful, warm feeling in my heart all winter long. And it's so sad to leave at the end. Oh, the end of winter. But we all have, in the lifestyle, we have a saying, see you down the road. And because often I will see you down the road next winter in Quartzsite. I have always stayed in one of the desert long-term visitor areas. It's called La Posa South in Quartzsite. I would boondock with a group of friends. And I'm not doing that this year. I'm changing. I'm doing something different. I'm doing something dramatically different in Quartzsite this year. Instead of boondocking, which I'd love to boondock, and I'll do it again, I'll keep doing it. But this year, I decided, I'm going to switch it up, especially for content. I mean, I said I'm a small channel, but I'm not. I'm okay. I'm doing great. And the only reason I'm doing great is because of Quartzsite. That's where I gained traction. If I want to do a video that gets a few thousand views, I'll make the video about Quartzsite, and that's what'll happen. So I owe it to Quartzsite. So I thought it would be a really neat thing to do this season, because they're over. This little town of like 2,500 people, Quartzsite, Arizona, has over 50, I think it's now 53 RV parks. What? So as many thousands of people that stay out in the desert and BLM land in the long-term visitor areas, which is also part of BLM, by the way, before someone jumps in there and says, LTVA is BLM too. I'm like, I know. I just don't like throwing 6 bazillion letters at people. But as many people as there are camping out in the desert, there are people that are in RV parks in town. And that's the way they spend their seasons. And there are people that have done it a couple years in a row, and there are people that have been doing it 30 years in a row. It's a different view and a different experience, I'm sure, living in town for the season. So that should make for sort of a different kind of YouTube experience for me for this season, being in town and staying in, and it's affordable. I'm staying at Arizona Sun RV Park, which is, it's not in the middle of town, because I kind of like a little peace and quiet. You go out to the town park, and there's the library, and about a whole long block away behind the library is where Arizona Sun RV Park is. And I booked, and I didn't book soon enough last year because I had to get on the waiting list, but it took a few months, but I came up. I'm staying December, January, February, 3 months. And it costs $1,000 for 3 months, plus electric. Now, that's $333 a month, plus electric. And I got to tell you, if the electric is $100 a month, I'll be shocked, because you just don't use AC much. Certainly during the middle of December and January, in first half of February, there's no reason to run an air conditioner. Maybe towards the end of February, you'll have some 80-degree days, or 80, maybe. But unless I'm not going to be running an electric heater. An electric heater could pump that thing up. But I'll be running propane heat at night. So that's still, it's the most expensive living situation I have all year, and let's say I'm going to guess it's going to be $50. So that's $383 a month for 3 months. That is the most expensive cost of living for me, and a housing cost of living for me. To do that for 3 months. Here, I pay my utilities. There's no monthly fee because I basically this is my place. I paid everything up front. I could amortize it over, maybe the 20 years I got left, maybe 25, maybe 30 years, who knows? And then tell you, make that into a monthly thing, but it would be, so hang on. Just to give her, if I lasted, 25 more years, it would be the electric, which is the biggest bill I ever had is $50. And if I amortized out the cost of this place, it'd be another $40 or $45 a month. So it cost me less than $100 a month here. Maintenance on it's probably, $1,400, $1,500 a year or something like that. What's that? Another 100 a month, 120 a month. Still, it's, even stretching to, do accrual accounting, we're still less than a couple $100 a month to live here. And if I don't use electricity in Eagle Nest, I'm paying less than $300 a month for my little spot. And my first electric bill that first month was $8. And I think the second one was $30. I spent $38 on electricity all summer because I was using solar, and the meter I hardly used any meters. So that's kind of my life. A lot of nomads like moving more frequently. My Sally Forth YouTube channel, check her out. She's a friend of mine. She has a Class C and a little dog, and she keeps moving. I would say, Sally, would you say you move on average in a year every 2 weeks? Or is it more or less than every 3 weeks, something like that? She keeps moving because that's what she loves. Right now, I think she's in Yellowstone camp hosting, which is I think a new thing for her. But, we each have our own style. But I can guarantee Sally's going to be coming through Quartzsite. She won't come through Quartzsite and stay 3 months. I can almost guarantee that. But I will see Sally in Quartzsite. I guarantee it. She'll come through. Everybody, there's different ways to do this. And you can do it the way I do at 3 primary places or 100 places. You can do it any way you want to do it. Anyway, totally unplanned, unscripted. That's my channel. And I've hardly had any of this coffee. And it's still really hot. Get one of these. Sponsored by Contigo. Buy now. I'm just kidding. I didn't even know the name of it. Contigo, I think. It's kind of worn off. I've had it for years. But there are a million of these things out here, insulated. You get it so nothing drinks out. When I want to sip, I press the button. So this can fall on the ground, roll around, fall in my lap. Nothing's going to come out. But I'm kidding about the sponsorship. They did not sponsor me. I did not. I paid for this a long time ago. What else? What else is going on today? So it's, I've done my positive news video. Now I've done my long form video. It is 7:32 in the morning. And I have, Dottie, do we have plans for today? We have no plans. None. We don't know. Dottie? What did you want to do today? Do you have any ideas? Did you just want to lay on the couch in my spot? Like Sheldon, this is my spot, but you keep invading my spot. You have all this other room here. Well, I guess there's a blanket and a couple pillows in the way. Sorry. Oh. I have no idea what I'm going to do today. Maybe ride the bike. I could do that. I could hunt around for maybe a little project or two to do. I can't think of anything at the moment, any maintenance things that I need to do. I have no idea. I could watch YouTube videos and fall asleep on the couch. Some of that's going to happen today. I guarantee you. Some of that's going to happen today. Anyway, it's been 40 minutes. That qualifies as a long-term video, doesn't it? Well, thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed today's random video. I had fun. Thanks for joining me. Take care.